The trials of Prophet Musa at As, from Pharaoh's court to the Red Sea. The life of Prophet Musa, As, or Moses as he is known in Judeo-Christian traditions, is a profound narrative of struggle, faith, and divine intervention that occupies a central place in Islamic tradition. His story, detailed in the Quran and Hadith, encompasses a series of significant trials, from his early life in Pharaoh's court to the dramatic event of the parting of the Red Sea. This essay explores the major phases of Musa's As life, examining the trials he faced, the divine miracles he experienced, and the enduring lessons from his journey. Early life and upbringing. The story of Musa As begins in a time of severe oppression for the children of Israel, who were enslaved by Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt. Musa As was born into a family of the children of Israel during this period of bondage. According to Islamic tradition, his birth was marked by divine intervention, as a prophecy foretold the downfall of Pharaoh at the hands of an Israelite child. In response to this prophecy, Pharaoh had issued a decree to kill all newborn Israelite boys. To protect her son, Musa's As mother placed him in a basket and set it adrift on the Nile River. This act of faith was guided by Allah's command, and the basket was eventually discovered by Pharaoh's wife, Asiya, who took Musa As in and raised him as her own. This adoption into the royal family was a crucial part of Allah's plan, positioning Musa As for his future role as a prophet and liberator. Musa's As early trials and exile. Musa As grew up in Pharaoh's palace, receiving an education and upbringing befitting a prince. Despite his privileged position, Musa As never forgot his true heritage and the suffering of his people. His internal conflict and growing awareness of the injustices faced by the Israelites shaped his character and mission. One day, Musa As witnessed an Egyptian beating an Israelite slave. In an attempt to defend the oppressed, Musa As intervened, leading to the accidental death of the Egyptian. This incident led to a series of events that forced Musa As to flee Egypt. He sought refuge in the land of Midian, where he encountered Jethro, Shuaib in Islamic tradition, a priest and a prophet, who provided him with shelter and eventually gave him one of his daughters in marriage. The call to prophethood. During his time in Midian, Musa As experienced a transformative encounter at Mount Sinai. While tending to his flock, he saw a burning bush that was not consumed by the fire. When he approached the bush, Allah spoke to him directly, revealing his identity and appointing Musa As a prophet. Allah commanded Musa As to return to Egypt and demand the release of the children of Israel from Pharaoh's oppression. This divine call marked the beginning of Musa's As mission. He was given several signs and miracles to demonstrate the authenticity of his prophethood. Among these signs was the transformation of his staff into a serpent and his hand becoming radiant when placed into his garment. These miracles were intended to convince Pharaoh and his court of Musa's As divine mission. Confrontation with Pharaoh. Upon returning to Egypt, Musa As faced the daunting task of confronting Pharaoh, who was known for his tyranny and refusal to acknowledge the God of the Israelites. Musa As and his brother Harun Aaron approached Pharaoh with Allah's command to release the Israelites. They requested Pharaoh to let the children of Israel go, but Pharaoh responded with arrogance and denial. Pharaoh challenged Musa As to a contest of miracles, which culminated in a dramatic confrontation. Musa As performed miracles, such as turning his staff into a serpent and performing other signs, which were initially met with skepticism and ridicule by Pharaoh and his court. However, when the magicians of Pharaoh's court acknowledged the truth of Musa's As miracles and accepted his message, Pharaoh's pride and anger escalated. In response to Pharaoh's obstinacy, Allah sent a series of plagues upon Egypt, including locusts, frogs, blood, and darkness. These plagues were intended to compel Pharaoh to release the Israelites and recognize Allah's power. Despite these signs, Pharaoh's heart remained hardened, and he continued to refuse to let the Israelites go. The Exodus and the Parting of the Red Sea. The culmination of Musa's trials in Egypt came with the dramatic event of the Exodus. Allah instructed Musa to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, and they set out on a journey to freedom. Pharaoh, however, changed his mind and pursued them with his army, leading to a climactic confrontation at the Red Sea. As the Israelites approached the Red Sea, they found themselves trapped between the advancing Egyptian army and the vast expanse of water. In this moment of apparent desperation, Allah commanded Musa to strike the sea with his staff. The sea parted, creating a path of dry land through the water, allowing the Israelites to escape safely. When Pharaoh and his army attempted to follow, the waters returned, drowning them and ensuring the safety of the Israelites. This miraculous event was a powerful demonstration of Allah's intervention and Musa's leadership. It marked the end of the Israelites' slavery and the beginning of their journey towards the Promised Land. The revelation of the Torah and the Covenant. Following the Exodus, Musa led the Israelites to Mount Sinai, where he received the Torah from Allah. The Torah contained divine laws and commandments that were to guide the Israelites in their new life as a free people. Musa spent 40 days and nights on the mountain receiving these revelations, which included the 10 Commandments and other laws. During Musa's absence, some of the Israelites fell into idolatry, worshipping a golden calf. This act of rebellion was a severe test of faith and loyalty. Upon returning, Musa was deeply distressed by the sight of the idol worship. He reprimanded those who had turned away from Allah and sought to purify the community from this sin. The trials in the wilderness. After receiving the Torah, Musa continued to lead the Israelites through the wilderness. Their journey was marked by further trials and challenges, including periods of disobedience and lack of faith. The Israelites faced difficulties such as a lack of food and water, and their faith was tested through various trials. Despite these challenges, Musa remained steadfast in his leadership and continued to guide the Israelites according to Allah's commandments. The period in the wilderness was also a time of preparation for the Israelites as they awaited entry into the Promised Land. The legacy of Prophet Musa, The story of Prophet Musa, is rich with lessons and significance. His trials and triumphs demonstrate the importance of faith, obedience, and perseverance in the face of adversity. Musa's life serves as a model of prophetic leadership and dedication to divine guidance. The events of Musa's life, from his confrontation with Pharaoh to the parting of the Red Sea, are commemorated and reflected upon in Islamic teachings. The lessons derived from his story continue to inspire and guide believers in their own spiritual journeys. Theological significance. In Islamic theology, the story of Musa underscores several key principles. It highlights the concept of monotheism and the rejection of tyranny and oppression. Musa's trials and miracles affirm Allah's power and justice, and his role as a prophet emphasizes the importance of adhering to divine guidance and upholding justice. The narrative also illustrates the concept of divine intervention and the fulfillment of Allah's promises. The miraculous events in Musa's life serve as signs of Allah's support for his prophets and the ultimate triumph of righteousness over evil. Conclusion. The trials of Prophet Musa, from his early life in Pharaoh's court to the dramatic parting of the Red Sea, are a profound narrative of faith, leadership, and divine intervention. His life, marked by significant trials and miraculous events, offers valuable lessons and inspiration for believers. The story of Musa continues to be a source of spiritual reflection and guidance, embodying the principles of faith, perseverance, and trust in Allah's plan.